Welcome to the Geniuses of Copywriting Podcast, a peek into the minds and strategies of the world's greatest copywriters, marketers, and persuasion experts. And now, here's your host, Brian Casangina.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Geniuses of Copywriting.com. I'm really privileged and honored to have my good friend Rob Wiser join us today on the podcast. Thanks for joining us, Rob. It's really appreciated.
Hey Brian, good to be here, man.
Yeah, cool. So we're coming from the beaches of Thailand. It's really going to be a privilege to find out how you really crush it with not only creating but also marketing and the copywriting for your digital products. So can you tell us about your story, how you got here and how you got so good?
Sure, it's an unusual story indeed. Yeah. I've been in this business for about 11 years, and I come from a writing background. I went to film school in college at New York University. I wanted to be a screenwriter of movies, and I was. In my early 20s, I had some success. I wrote some movies, sold a bunch of scripts, and then I also was publishing books as well. I was a really prolific writer. But although I achieved some success at a young age, and I got the mainstream book published, and I worked in the movie business, it was a really hard way to make a consistent income. And with those businesses, it's like the music business, you know. There are many gatekeepers involved. I could spend 6 months working on a screenplay. I would get meetings set up at all the studios with all the producers, pitching my ideas, but there were so many people and so many obstacles in between that screenplay and having it actually get made into a movie and make me a pile of money. So I was hustling, knocking on doors, writing like crazy, but the idea of making consistent money and seeing my work get produced consistently was, of course, extremely challenging. Well, it turned out that one day I met a guy who was amazing at talking to women. And this was back in 2006, 2007, when the book The Game came out, and the whole idea of pickup and learning how to attract women was a really hot topic in the media. So I had an idea for a book, and I interviewed this guy, hung out with him, picked his brain, wrote a semi-successful dating book for men, full of dating tips and advice for men. And when it came time for me to write a follow-up book on a similar topic, I met a guy who was running a very successful information product business. Okay, his name was Carlos. So I said to Carlos, hey man, I've written this book for guys. It's in Barnes & Nobles and Borders, and my mother's very proud of me. It's this mainstream book, an actual paperback book. It had made me very little money because royalties are basically nothing in that business. Yeah. Hardly anything. You've got to sell millions of copies to get wealthy off of a book. And this guy Carlos said, hey man, why don't we collaborate on it, but let's do it as an ebook, because I have a website and I sell my ebooks online. And at the time, that sounded ridiculous to me. It was like, the equivalent of a guy who was, a major record deal and it was touring the country, playing stadiums, going and playing a show in a bowling alley or something. It was like, the idea of an ebook to me was just, there was nothing glitzy about it, nothing glamorous about it. But we ended up collaborating. I did my first ebook with this guy and put it online. It immediately started selling copies. And all of a sudden, I'm making the royalties directly into my pocket. So I created more of these products in that niche. And now I'm making, $10, $20, $30 per sale directly into my pocket. And I'm making sales around the clock 24 hours a day. The internet never sleeps. And it's all being done basically on autopilot through a website that I set up. That was my first experience with digital products. And then I began to refine my process. I began to build out my products so that not only was it an ebook, now it was a system or a program. Yeah. And I would have the ebook plus a bunch of videos and a bunch of audios and a bunch of interviews with experts and so forth. And now I'm selling these courses for like $97 or even more. And the money started to become very significant. And I never looked back. I never returned to the mainstream book business or to Hollywood.
And why would you want to? I mean, that's what's so good about doing this. It's a completely different business from what we call the traditional book publishing business.
That's right.
If someone wants to start doing this, what are the top 3 things that someone needs to know if they want to start creating these products?
Well, the first thing I would say is you already have an idea inside of you, or an idea you can get started on. By that I mean, you right now, I'm pretty sure, possess a talent or a skill or an interest or a knowledge of a subject that if you were to package that information together into an ebook or an e-course, and then you market it correctly. That's what's the key there. People will pay you good money to buy that product from you. Okay, a lot of people get, and point number 2 is that a lot of people get hung up on this idea that, well, I'm not an expert. I enjoy playing golf, or I enjoy playing guitar, or I enjoy traveling, but I'm not really a world-class expert on it. I'm not a world-class authority, and therefore, I'm not qualified to make a product on this. Well, you know what? You are. Because one thing I always teach people how to do, and which I've done many times with my products, is that I will leverage the power of experts. I can come up with an idea for a product. I think it'll be a pretty good seller. And if I'm not the authority on it, and usually I'm not, I will reach out and contact experts who may have a book of their own on Amazon, who may have a YouTube channel and a bit of a following on YouTube. They may just have a website or a blog, and they are obviously very knowledgeable on this particular topic. I reach out to them. I tell them I want to make a digital product and feature them as a featured expert in my product. And 9 times out of 10, they don't even ask me about compensation or a percentage of anything. They're just glad to do it for the exposure and to have me maybe include some links in my product that go to their website or to their blog or to their Amazon listing, so they can sell a few extra copies of whatever they're selling. They're happy to do it, and oftentimes they are flattered to be asked to do it. So I can call up 3 or 4 experts, record some interviews with them, whether it's in a video chat or just a phone call, and all of a sudden I've got hours of content that I can bundle together into this e-course on virtually any topic. So those are 2 points you should know about. And then the third is that you don't need to be a writer or a video personality either. A lot of people don't want to be on camera, shooting videos for YouTube. A lot of people hate the idea of having to write a 200-page ebook. Well, you don't need to do any of these things. And in fact, I don't write these books myself anymore either. I hire writers. There are some terrific websites these days, which I can point you towards, where you can hire very talented, highly educated writers to create ebooks for you on any topic for far less money than you would ever imagine, as little as a few $100. The fact of the matter is, years ago I worked as a journalist. I wrote for magazines, and I wrote books, as I told you. And there was money to be made in those fields. Now today, because of the rise of the internet, it's very hard to find gainful employment at a newspaper or at a magazine and make good money. So what you have is this massive surplus of writers who are hungry for work, and you can find them on these freelance job websites, and they are desperate to get these gigs. So you don't need to be a writer. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be on camera. You can very easily hire someone or work out an arrangement with someone to make your videos for you. So you don't need to be out there using your own name and your own face if you don't want to. And you already have an idea inside of you right now. I have some ideas to help draw these ideas out of you. I have some strategies I can share with you. But you've got what it takes right now to get started with this.
Yeah, that's really some of the most transformational for a lot of people. When I learned this kind of thing, it was amazing. How it shifted everything, and I was able to hire natural-born English people who would write for such small amounts of money, like what I perceived, to be very reasonable rates. And then, because a lot of the perception is that you have to hire a writer from a third world country or a non-English speaking country, and they're lovely people, but they don't always have the perfect grasp of English language. But that's not the case. You can hire really good writers, and so that's right. It's awesome information.
Yes, you can.
So how long does it take to sort of get to a stage where you're already proficient at creating and, more importantly, marketing these digital products? What's a time frame that someone can look at?
Well, the way I teach how to do this, you can be up and running with your first digital product in as little as a few weeks. And that can be the beginning of your journey. And you can begin making passive income very soon. The idea of making money on autopilot. You put it up once on the internet, and then the sales happen around the clock, even while you sleep. That's passive income. Now, to become proficient at it, well, with every product that I created, I got better, and I figured out more and more shortcuts. The cool thing about what I teach now is that I've laid out all my shortcuts for you, so you don't need to spend months or even years trying to figure this stuff all out for yourself. So I figured out the shortcuts for doing this, and not only myself, but I've been spending years attending masterminds with people like Brian and many people we know all around the world and learning their shortcuts and strategies too. So to get started, you can get started, really today. You can have your first product up within a few weeks, generating passive income. And then with each new product you create, you'll get more proficient. It's like anything else.
That's like mind-blowingly short time frame for someone to get up and running an internet business, because I'm like the most stubborn guy ever. So I was stuck in my old ways and not willing to take on this new stuff for the longest time when I started out online. And we have different paths, but it took me a while to sort of accept this thing because it seemed like it was too fast. But the reality is, as you've proven, you can start in such a short frame of time. There's no excuses anymore.
And now's the perfect time to get started for a number of reasons. When I first started out years ago, I had to hire a web developer or a web designer.
Yeah.
And I had to pay them by the hour.
Yeah.
And it was like $50 or $60 an hour, I forget, but it was a lot of money, especially for me back then.
Yeah.
I had really no budget to work with. And every time I wanted to add a picture to my website or add a paragraph, I had to pay this person.
Yeah.
So there was no WordPress. Today, you have so many of these tools and services that allow anybody to set up a website and start a digital product business like this. You don't need to have computer skills or any sort of technical background. I mean, I had none of that stuff, and I still am not a techie person at all. So, and then on top of that, like we're saying, you now have at your disposal thousands and thousands of freelance workers around the world who will do these things for you for pennies on the dollar. None of that existed 10 years ago in this business. So It's an amazing time to get started.
And that was going to be my next question as well, because the tech issue is a huge thing. I mean, I used to be a computer engineer for many years, and even I'm not up to speed on all the latest tech platforms and all the different things you can do. So a big thing for me is making sure the tech is right. I mean, even just the time spent on it. I've got so many other things on that I don't want to spend time building a website. So it's amazing you can outsource all that for pennies on the dollar.
Sure can.
What about experience? If you choose to create a product, say in an area where you do have an interest in, which is always a good idea, how much experience do you need to create that product if you already have an interest in that area?
Well, a lot of the people that have done very well in this business are people who've brought life experience. They brought their life experience into creating a digital product.
So they have to like their story.
Their story, something they know about. It could be as simple as how to stop snoring. I mean, that's a life experience for some people. They had a bad problem with snoring, or whatever their physical ailment may have been. They figured out how to solve that problem, probably by reading some books and doing some research and trying different things, and that formed the basis of their digital product. You'd be amazed at some of the topics that people create $1 million digital products about, and they list them generally on Clickbank.com, which is where I sell mine. So I told you earlier that you've got an idea inside of you right now. So when you're thinking about a product to create, think in terms of challenges you've had in your life, or problems, or ailments, or frustrations, and how you overcame them. Because you have a unique take on this. You did it yourself, and that can form the basis of a digital product.
Yeah, that's really good advice. It provides that drive and passion behind an idea that you have to really move that forward.
Sure. I mean, the list is endless. I mean, maybe you overcame depression or anxiety. Maybe you overcame procrastination. Maybe you lost a bunch of weight and got in shape. Maybe you found the spouse or the boyfriend or girlfriend of your dreams. Well, how'd you pull that off? We've all got life stories to tell, and if your life story can in some way inspire or help people, you may have the basis of a tremendously successful product.
Yeah, and I think, like you alluded to before, it doesn't matter how small a thing that we perceive it to be, a small thing for us might mean all the difference in the world to somebody else.
That's right. And of course, by using copywriting, which we both talk about a lot, you will have the edge over other products in the marketplace. You may think to yourself, well, why couldn't somebody just go to Google and Google this topic and find free information? Or why won't they just go to Amazon and grab a Kindle book for $3 about this? Well, on Amazon, you've got very little space to work with if you're a book author. You've only got really a paragraph or two to explain what your book is about. Whereas when we create these digital products and put them on our websites, we oftentimes write detailed sales letters, using copywriting to explain the product, explain who we are, to relate to the prospect, to build rapport with them, to overcome their objections. We accomplish so many things with our copywriting that even if there are 50 other books out there on the market about this topic, about how to find Mr. Right, or how to learn how to speak Spanish in 30 days, we can present the idea and position it with our copywriting in a way that makes it feel like the end-all, be-all solution. And it's not just some $3 Kindle book. It's a $47 digital course with an ebook, with some videos, with some audios. It's the complete package, and we position this thing as it is all you will ever need to conquer this problem or handle this situation once and for all. So copywriting plays a large role in this.
Yeah, I mean, and even that's understating it. If you weren't so good at copywriting, you can create all the best products in the world, but if nobody knows about them, then they won't sell a copy.
And if you don't persuade them to take action and buy it.
Exactly right. So what about? Do you have some real life examples of this working in different niches?
Oh yeah. When I speak publicly and give seminars on this topic, I usually walk people through some of the Clickbank marketplace. And you can do it yourself. Just go over to clickbank.com and browse the marketplace, and you will be amazed at the products that are on top in their various categories. In fact, the number one product on Clickbank, last time I checked, is a numerology product, which is kind of a woo-woo, new age idea where you enter your birth date or whatever, and it will tell you things about yourself. It's sort of like consulting a fortune teller. Yeah. Your birth month means that you will experience this, or you will have an event happen in your life on this date, or whatever. It's a monster seller, and it turns out that the creator of that product and his wife are friends of mine. I've run into them at masterminds all the time. They're a lovely couple from New Zealand, and they're a lot of fun. And these weren't master marketers of decades. They were just they were a couple that created this idea, and it caught on, and it has built a tremendous following online. So that's just one example. Other top-selling products are in other niches you would never imagine. Like there's one about woodworking projects. The ebook probably consists of a bunch of blueprints for how to build your own home projects in your garage or your backyard. Other big sellers on Clickbank involve survival products, which are for what are known as the preppers, the people who are anticipating a big financial collapse or a crash or a war, and they're stockpiling food and they're learning how to hunt and defend their families, and that's a huge niche on Clickbank. And then of course there are the usual ones, the big three, which are health, wealth, and relationships. And I have created a lot of products in those three categories, because they're always huge sellers. How to cure or solve health issues or become healthier, how to acquire wealth, whether it's through making money online or whether through it's buying cryptocurrency or investing, and then of course relationships. And I've done many of those. Relationships are a big pain point for a lot of people. Especially I found women of a certain age who want to find a loving relationship. They will gladly pay for an ebook or a course that contains some helpful tips for them to get out there back on the dating scene and hopefully meet the right guy.
Yeah, that's where the copywriting comes back into it again. When you go and look at these products on Clickbank, what you'll notice is that the copywriting is really strong, and that's what copywriting is about. Solving people's problems, and a great product, the kind that you create, Rob, really solves people's problems. So that's where the copywriting and persuasion comes into it. So it's really important.
Sure thing.
But if you had one secret to tell people about creating and marketing and copywriting for digital products, what would that be?
I'm going to take a pause for a second. I cut that one out because
You did?
I wasn't sure what to say about it, but I'll figure out an answer. I might say affiliates. The secret about digital products.
It's a bit of a it's not probably the most important question on here. Because everyone, I think for your market it's relevant because you probably have a lot of newbie marketers wanting to buy a course. Get into digital product.
The biggest secret is, I guess, how easy it is to get started. I can just do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So just keep going.
Yeah.
Why don't you start the question again?
So Rob, if there's one secret that you could give people about doing all this really well, what would that be?
Well, the number one secret about these digital products to me is that really anyone can get into this and start making great money and great passive income. I have many examples and many friends of mine that I could talk to you about. One friend of mine, his name's Ron, and Ron was working as a lawyer in California, probably working about 90 hours a week. He was totally miserable. He hated his job. Around the same time I discovered this stuff, he discovered it too. And he had just bought a Shih Tzu puppy. You know, those Shih Tzus, the cute little dogs?
Yeah,
he bought this little Shih Tzu. Apparently Shih Tzus are a bit hard to train. So he created a digital product about how to train your Shih Tzu. And before long, this product was generating more money for him than he was making at the law firm. And he quit his job and never looked back. And now he's a mentor to many people who want to create products. So there are so many people, men and women of all ages, from all backgrounds and all walks of life, that I have seen get into this business and take one of their skills or interests or talents or passions and turn it into a product and a terrific online business. It's a sideline income for some people. For others, it is not only a full-time income, it is an income that dwarfs what doctors and lawyers are making.
Yeah, exactly right. And the thing I get from that is if an overworked lawyer can pull this off, and retire from his practice, then anyone can.
That's very true.
What are some of the problems though that people have when they're creating and marketing digital products?
Well, I would say there's two. One of them is not taking action. One of them is not following through and knuckling down and getting the product created. You've got to get the thing done. One nice thing about digital products, as opposed to recording an album or writing a book for the bookstores or making a movie, is that with digital products, you can always go back and revise them. Okay, so get your first draft out there, get it up, start selling it. Okay, you can always release the 2.0 version or the new version at any time you want. You simply open up the Word document, you revise it, you convert it into a PDF, you upload it, delete the old file, and you've got a new and improved version of your digital product.
So progress beats perfection.
That's absolutely true in this case. Yes. I've got to remember my other point. I said there's 2 points.
Yeah.
The other point, one of them is procrastination, and the other one, here's the other one. Now, the other common problem that I see people experience is that they try to reinvent the wheel. Okay, now I don't advocate ripping anybody off. I don't advocate copying people's sales pages or products, but you definitely want to look at what's out there, what's succeeding, and model that stuff, model their success, okay? Follow a similar format, create a similar type of product. Use them for inspiration and for ideas. I see too many people sit down to write the sales copy for their website, and they just write it off the top of their head. They don't follow any sort of proven template or any formula. You know, when Brian and I write a sales letter, we're never just winging it and just making stuff up. We are following a proven series of steps, and we're ticking off boxes. You know, we're building our rapport, we're introducing ourselves, we're telling our story, and we are overcoming objections. We are mentioning the money back guarantee, and so on and so forth. There's a series of steps you want to follow. So never try to wing it and just create your sales page and your sales message just off the top of your head. That's one of the biggest mistakes. I call it building a better mousetrap.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You study what else is out there, see what's working, and then you build a better mousetrap. You don't try to invent an entirely new type of trap.
Yeah.
You know?
And regular listeners to this podcast will know, we work by formulas and templates and stuff, And while we fill those out with our own details, we don't try and reinvent the wheel. So I couldn't have said it better than you just did. So
Thank you very much.
So once you get started, it's quick to get started, and you can avoid some of these problems a lot of people have, and you can start setting up these incomes. And you can, like you're saying before, you can really start to bring up your income to amazing levels. But you want to stay on top of things, and you want to keep really raising that up. What are some things that people can do to stay on top and keep their business growing?
Well, the most important thing, there's two things you can do to grow your business and keep scaling it up. One of them is to start buying traffic. And Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to that. So that's one way to grow your business with this. But the other way, which is what I've been very successful with, is understanding the whole affiliate game. Affiliates, in case you're unaware, are kind of like middlemen. They are other marketers that will promote your product and then earn a commission for each sale that they make. So when you have a lot of affiliates promoting your product, it really becomes like free autopilot money. Because right now I have dozens or even hundreds of affiliates that I don't even know these people. I have no idea who they are. They're all over the world, and they are setting up blogs, and they're running ads, and they're promoting emails to their email list to tell people about my products. And they have links to my product. And the way Clickbank works is that when somebody clicks that link and goes to my website and buys my product, that affiliate gets an automatic commission, usually 75%. So understanding the whole affiliate side of this business is really the key, has been the key in my case, to growing my business and keeping my rankings high. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to get affiliates. In some cases, random affiliates will find you in the Clickbank marketplace, and they'll sign up and they'll get their links and they'll start promoting you. But in many cases, it's a matter of taking the initiative, especially when you're starting out in this. And you'll want to reach out to people who are affiliates, and you'll want to reach out to other product creators in your niche who probably have an email list they can use to promote you. But it can be a bit of a delicate game. You want to know how to approach them correctly to make it a win-win situation and to make them want to help you and work with you. And this is all stuff that I teach as well. So in affiliate marketing, by the way, I probably get about 50% of my income from promoting other people's products. Every time I sell a product, that customer gets added to my email list, and every day I send out emails to my list. I can't just tell them about my stuff over and over again.
They've already bought that.
They've already bought a lot of this stuff. So what I do instead is I promote other people's products that my list might want to buy, and I make money as an affiliate.
And they're in a similar niche, so they're probably interested in different products in the same niche.
Sure. I mean, for example, I've got a relationship product for women. How to meet the man of your dreams. So I have this list of tens of thousands of women. What else do women want to buy? Perhaps I sell them yoga products, weight loss products, fitness products for women. They may want to buy a product on astrology, or my friend's product on numerology. So you think there's all these different products that this customer group may want to purchase also. And it's a great way to multiply your income exponentially.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you've covered pretty much everything here, creating the products and especially doing the marketing and the copywriting. I think you covered that really well as well. So where can people find out more information? They want to take what they've learned here today and take that to the next step and really get into the marketplace and get making some serious money. What can they do to find out about that?
Well, I have a site now. It's called dayjobdestroyer.com.
Love that address, yeah.
dayjobdestroyer.com. Now, look, I used to work a day job for a while when my writing career was not making me nearly enough money. I hated having a day job, But, as I said before, this doesn't need to be about day job destruction. In your case, it might be a way to generate some nice sideline income. I've also known people who are pursuing a passion, like they want to be a novelist or a professional musician, or they want to be an actor, But rather than work some horrible day job in between auditions, they create a digital product, and they make enough money to subsidize themselves while they pursue that life passion or that life goal. So, but the site is called dayjobdestroyer.com because I have helped many people quit their day jobs and never look back. So go on over there. You'll see my course. You can learn more about me. You'll see how to contact me. And if you dig around a little bit, you'll even find that I'm offering a crash course for a very low amount of money that you can get if you want to get your feet wet and learn some of the basics of what I teach.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. So definitely do that if you want to find out more about what you do. So, and I know your site is really got a lot of information on it as well. So, it's like what we've been talking about here, but expanded. So, they should definitely go and do that. So, thanks for coming on today, Rob. We really appreciate it. A lot of great info here, and some of my questions that I had for you as well, personally answered as well. So it's some really great information. So daydjobdestroyer.com.
Yep, and you know what? We're sitting on a balcony in Thailand, overlooking the Gulf of Thailand. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm going to go hit the beach and jump in the water.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you for listening to Geniuses of Copywriting with Brian Casangina. To get the full transcript and all the resources mentioned on today's show, go to www.geniusesofcopywriting.com now.